and welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free with quantum tools and understandings. So this week's Thriver TV episode is another episode about clearing our susceptibility to narcissistic abuse, and this one is a biggie. It's about righteousness. And it's really crazy, but just even that word righteousness makes me actually feel righteous about righteousness, because this is a really huge topic. It's one that I feel very personally connected to. So if I start raising my voice a few decibels, I do apologize. I'm going to try and just keep this one really clear and calm, which is where it needs to be. So righteousness is a really sticky one. It's a huge pill to swallow, and it was for me personally, because I used to be extremely righteous. And the problem with righteousness is we're really programmed to be righteous because our world has taught us that certain behaviours are okay and certain behaviours aren't okay, and that people that lack integrity or people that take advantage of others for their own agenda and people that abuse are really wrong, bad people, and it's not okay. So there's an enormous amount of focus that we can have feeling righteous about bad people. And this is where narcissistic abuse forums go so wrong. This is where they're just not helping people, and I'm really going to explain this. But just to backtrack a little bit about my family background, I had parents that, you know, look, God bless them, and they did a wonderful job in many ways. They didn't really understand the way to program a child's subconscious, which a lot of parents from that generation didn't know, and emotional intelligence and emotional availability often wasn't there. And naturally, of course, I got set up as a codependent, but my parents had great integrity. They were really honest people. They did the right thing. And in fact, they would have been really incensed if anybody thought that they weren't good people, because in so many ways they were very good people. I had a really wholesome upbringing in that way. But in many ways, really what this set me up to be was quite judgmental about bad people and wrong people and people that didn't have integrity. And in narcissistic abuse, this was massive for me, because my focus on both narcissists and intensely narcissist number one, the ex-narcissistic husband, you know, when he was treating me cruelly and maliciously and doing all the things that narcissists do, I was hugely invested in the story. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm a good person with integrity, and how dare you treat a good person who has integrity in such horrible, disgusting, disgraceful, abusive, and even criminal ways. And I had such this thing about, you know, I need you to get it. I need to hold you accountable. I need to make you wrong. I need to, get you charged for this. I need to, whatever it was, in order for me to have a better life around it. And this is the problem with righteousness. And I'm going to explain this at a deep quantum level, which is a true level, so that you can understand what's going on with this. What happens is when we're in righteousness, we have entered the realm of conditional living. And what conditional living means is that unless I can change this thing outside of myself that I'm righteous about, I can't be whole and I can't be okay. So that immediately throws us into powerlessness, because we have no power to change anything that isn't ourselves. And the truth of life is that when we can actually change ourselves to become a generative force of what we want to experience, then we're in right town. Then we've got the ability to generate a great life from the inside out, because we're going to align with, make choices, put our focus on. We're going to attach to things that are healthy for us, and we're going to detach from things that are not healthy for us. And in narcissistic abuse, when we are stuck in this righteousness of, I need to hold you accountable, I need to change your behavior, I need to stop you doing what you are doing, I need to get you imprisoned or locked up, or I need to have authorities punish you, or whatever it is, what we are doing is we are handing our power over, and what we're doing is we're saying that unless this thing outside of me changes, well then I can't be okay. Now, far from being able to generate the ability for that thing to change in our life, what we are actually do is only going to receive more of, I am not okay, and more of that thing we're being righteous about. Because the truth about righteousness, and this is the crazy thing about it, is we think we're saying no to something, but we are not saying no to it. We're actually saying yes to it, because life is a very, very simple formula. And you know, people, no matter how they want to look at law of attraction, they might think it's woohoo and they might think it's rubbish, but life is a very, very simple formula, and this is how it works. That whatever we are emotionally invested in, whatever we are emotionally generating inside us as our beliefs and our emotions, and whatever we are emotionally focused on, is what we are going to receive more of. Because the truth is, becoming, the word become means be it and it will come. So we can become depression, we can become anger, we can become resentment, we can become victimization. We can become anything. And if we be it, it will come. And I want to give you a really simple example about this. Righteous drivers. It's a very, very simple example. Righteous drivers are very in opposition to people that are crappy drivers. And the interesting thing about righteous drivers is that they always have crappy drivers ruining their driving experience for them. They're focused on people that cut people off, people that don't look, people that, whatever it is that crappy drivers do. Now, if you've been playing it, and righteous drivers think that they're saying no to crappy drivers by being emotionally invested in how bad it is and how awful it is and how wrong it is and how people like that shouldn't be on the road, all of that energy. But they're actually saying yes to crappy drivers to come into their experience. Now, I want you to try this as a really simple example. If you have been or are a righteous driver, the next time somebody cuts you off, or the next time somebody does something to you on the road, I want you to open your body and open your heart rather than contract. Just breathe and say, you know, I bless you and I allow you to have your experience while I am free to go and create my own. And what you will find is you've released the emotional charge on it. You'll not be driving on thinking about it and obsessing about it, and you're actually focused in generating your own truth, which is certainly not crappy drivers. Now, if you were to do that diligently for a few days, I promise you, you will have no more crappy drivers in your experience, because what's now happened is those crappy drivers have gravitated towards being in the experience of somebody who's righteous about crappy drivers, somebody that's the other half of the magnet. So we can start to understand this in relation to narcissistic abuse, that when we are focused on narcissists, and we're righteous about it, and we're righteous about how bad they are and how evil they are and how they do what they do, whether that be past, present or future, we are saying yes to narcissistic abuse, because that's exactly where our emotional energy is generating and where our focus is. And yet, this is what changed everything for me, is that when I realized all of this and I got deeply invested in self-partnering, meeting myself and healing myself, the massive realization in all of this is what my righteousness was creating. And also too, that my only job was to meet myself and release from myself, up-level my traumas that were wedged in my body that had to do with fear, pain, and judgment. Judgment being righteousness. Because, you know, that righteousness, that judgment, that resentment hurts. It feels like rubbish in our bodies, and it brings rubbish into our life. And the truth of our inner identity, if you were to put monitors on yourself and you were to sit in a scientific, measurable environment with this, what you would discover is that the anxiety, the cortisol and the adrenaline and all those life debilitating chemicals and nasty peptides that start pumping through your body, when you are in righteousness, you've activated them. So what you're actually doing is you are diminishing yourself. And that's what righteousness is all about. Righteousness is not a true self-function. It's not. Detachment, allowing unconditional love and life is. And unconditional love and life goes like this, is I observe that you are not the truth of my life. I have no need to change you in order for me to feel okay. So therefore, I can detach from you, I can bless and allow you to choose whatever is right for you, and I choose whatever is right for me. So that's exactly what you are doing if you want to deprogram yourself from being a righteous driver. Now, naturally, of course, we've got less charge on being a righteous driver than what we do about having our life smashed to pieces by a narcissist. Absolutely. Totally, I get that because I've lived it and I've worked through it. So what that means is we've got to be very, very orientated in taking our focus off the narcissist and recognizing the gift of this entire experience, that you were an aid, you were an angel in disguise that came into my life to reflect back to me those parts of me that I hadn't yet ascended and evolved into a true self function. Those parts of myself that were still stuck in pain, fear, and judgment, that were underdeveloped, that hadn't grown up yet, that hadn't healed up yet. And by going to those parts of myself that you are bringing massively to my attention, thank you. Mind you, we don't thank them personally. We thank them at a soul level. You've shown these to me. Now I can go to them. I know it's not about you. This is actually about up-leveling me. I'm going to up-level those parts beyond abuse, beyond where I was previously vibrating, living and emotionally connected to, so that I can transcend not only abuse, but so many previous limitations in my life that weren't allowing me to be my highest and best self. And when we understand the truth of that, then that's where our emotional investment goes in our up-leveling. We detach. We stop feeding the narcissistic supply, and I promise you, righteousness is a great narcissistic supply. You know, a narcissist loves your righteousness because that gives the narcissist that, oh my gosh, I am so valid and I exist because I can affect another person in this way. They don't care how you say it or what you do with it. Any energy, any focus, and it can just be energetic. You don't even have to be in direct contact. If you're doing righteousness through your being, I promise you, narcissists feel it. You're still hooked, you're still connected. You're still saying yes to abuse, even if the abuse is just the replaying of the obsession through your heart, your mind, and your soul every single day. So we need to heal this. We need to heal this. So I really hope that this understanding has helped you realize that righteousness is not true self-function. It's not source. It's not life. It's not God. It's not flow. It's not a oneness connection to the field. And let me explain that to you. A connection to the field means that we don't have to rely just on our own resources. We can have opportunity, breakthrough, miracle, and synchronicity. And they are incredibly powerful forces when we're aligned. And we are not aligned in righteousness, because righteousness contracts down our body. We're not in love, we're in fear, we're in defense. And what we're saying in that is that conditional living statement that I am not okay until I can change something or someone outside of myself, which means that we have snapped off from the field. We're not a generative force of our own recovery, breakthrough, expansion and creation of well-being in life. We're not tapped into the stream and the flow of well-being of life. We're out, as Esther Hicks would say, we're out on the ragged edge on our own, snapped off from well-being. We're in a terrible place. So what happens then in our righteousness is everything that we're being righteous about magnifies in our experience, comes at us even harder. And the purpose of that, which is always about life is happening for us and not to us, is to smash us open, to release our righteousness, and to up level to our true self, but hopefully we can wake up to this. And I know a lot of law of attraction people say, oh, it's all rubbish and it's all this and it's all that. We have to be really asleep to not get that whatever we're emotionally invested in is actually what's happening to us and continues to happen. We got to wake up. We really do. And, I love the journey of narcissistic abuse and thriving because it wakes us up profoundly. So, please work out what I did and drop the righteousness. Really listen to this video a few times and really start getting it through to yourself that it's about detachment, it's about blessing things, it's about knowing that when you do that, no longer are you going to hold outside sources or outside people responsible for your life. You're going to let them go if they're not a match for you. And you're going to be a generative force that starts graduating. When abuse shows up, you'll say, well, thank you for showing me that. That's not my truth. Go on your way. I have no need to change you. In love, go. And isn't this gorgeous? I've just graduated. I've just really chosen my reality that I'm generating with all of the field, with life, with miracle, opportunity and synchronicity, as well as my powerful choices that honor and respect me. And I'm doing this easily. Once you graduate to that level, because you've healed your inner wounds enough to do it, then you wait and see the magic that comes into your life and the people and the experiences, and abuse won't even come near your edges. It will just need to gravitate and play with other people that haven't unraveled this yet and haven't healed it yet. So I really hope that's helped. And, if you want to go deeper on this journey, please subscribe to my stuff, my free resources, and many, many other resources that can help you take a really powerful journey with this. And you can do that by clicking the button that appears on this video. So until next week, keep thriving and keep healing and keep smiling and really self-partner, really look at this, okay? Because there's nothing else to do. So until the next video, lots of love. Bye-bye.